Back when I was still dating Miko, I was a college student and she was an office worker. We got along pretty well because we were the same age. One day, we took a summer break and went for a drive in my little clunker of a car around noon. We went to the local beach and enjoyed the sun and waves until we saw the sunset. We packed our things up to drive back the same way we came. I think it was around 5 p.m. After driving along a dimly lit country road for a while, we drove up a steep hill into the mountains. Soon, the road turned into a one lane along a steep cliff, with mountain rocks onto the left and guardrail on the right. I still remember how magnificent it was to see the bright red sun setting on the horizon, far beyond to our right. I was chatting with Miko, who was sitting in the passenger seat, but she must have fallen asleep at some point because she became quiet. She did enjoy the ocean and swam a lot. The radio kept me company as I continued driving along the steep, dark road of the mountain. I forgot how many narrow curves I had to go through, but suddenly, just as I was about to pass another curve in the road, a huge bus appeared just ahead of me. It was a tourist bus, huge inside and had lighting on the vehicle ceiling for the passengers. Uh-oh, this is trouble, I thought, because the bus was so big I couldn't see what was ahead of me. Looking through the front window at the rear window of the bus, I could see the backs of several male students in open-necked shirts sitting in a dim interior. Were they on a club expedition or something? I thought to myself. They were all uniformly tan and well-built. Eventually, they noticed me, and a few of them turned around and started smiling and waving their hands. Ah, youth. I smiled and waved in response. Then, one of them, in the middle of the group, turned to me with a serious look on his face and began beckoning, as if inviting me to go on their bus. "Come with us," he mouthed. As if he was the leader, the rest of the group did the same, having a dead serious look on their faces. What on earth are they doing? I was watching them a little confused. Is this what they do nowadays? But then, it happened right after. Suddenly, the bus disappeared from sight and the horizon spread out in front of us, and the guardrail jumped into my car's front window. Whoa! I panicked and slammed on the brakes as hard as I could. With a loud screeching noise, the car crashed into the guardrail with such force that both Miko and I hit the windshield hard. I finally awoke with a throbbing forehead and an injured right arm. How long had I been unconscious? I looked to the front and saw the windshield was cracked, the hood was twisted into a mess, and white smoke was coming out from inside. I saw Miko in the passenger seat, also awake and leaning limply against the window. She also had a blue bruise on her forehead and a little blood. I got out of the car immediately, managed to get Miko out, and then called the ambulance. Miko sat on the asphalt, resting her back on the barren mountain wall. I leaned close and put a handkerchief on her forehead. The guardrail stopped my car from diving off the cliff, resulting in an inverted U shape, and the front part was wrecked, still spewing white smoke. If it hadn't been for the guardrail, I thought to myself, Miko and I would have plunged into the abyss. The thought made me shudder. I stood by Miko waiting for the ambulance to arrive, looking at the wrecked car and thinking about the accident. The bus was going around the curve, and the driver must have made some kind of mistake and not turned but went straight ahead. My sight was blocked by the bus and didn't notice the curve, so I must have followed the bus, crossed the opposite lane, and plowed straight into the guardrail. That was my conclusion. No, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. A doubt rose in my mind. If the bus had hit the guardrail and fallen, we would have followed it and suffered the same fate. And if the bus had not fallen, my car would have crashed into the back of it. My head gradually began to work properly. Where the hell did the bus go in the first place? Tilting my head, I walked to the edge of the twisted guardrail and peered over the cliff just below. What I saw was a silhouette of a dark forest-like shadow, and beyond that was the ocean, now nothing but darkness. I pulled out a flashlight from the dashboard and used it to flash some light below the cliff. All I could see was a dense tangle of trees, and there was no bus to be seen anywhere. I looked at the slope to my left and noticed something strange. What could it be? I turned my flashlight toward it and found myself instantly horrified. There were many bouquets of flowers and candy on the ground. What the hell is going on here? Still trying to understand the meaning of all this, my ears caught whispers that were carried by the wind. Damn, we were so close. It was a boy's high-pitched voice, and it came from the darkness below the cliff. Following that voice came the sound of boys laughing and giggling, as if they were enjoying a prank. Is someone out there? I shouted, and ran to the edge of the guardrail and took a glance down the cliff using my flashlight. That moment, all the hair on the back of my neck stood up at once. I'll never forget what I saw. The light highlighted the tangled branches of the trees below the cliff, and peeking out from the darkness between them were boys I saw on the bus looking up at me. All of them with pale faces, smiling and laughing innocently with each other. It was as if they were sneering at me as I peered down. Eventually, their laughter was drowned out by the sirens of the ambulance.